There's sure to be a lot of fannies in the seats today at Lynn Family Stadium as Oklahoma City has come back from a 7-game winless skid to start the year. Villian Bijev leading an offense into playoff position. Tonight, can he crack Sean Tosh and the Louisville back line that has catapulted City to the top of the Eastern Conference? Closing in on kickoff in Kentucky. Beautiful night in Louisville, Kentucky. The USL Championship finally returns to Lynn Family Stadium, and it is presented by Fifth Third Bank, making banking a Fifth Third better. There are 5,300 fanny packs, waist bags, fanny bags, bum bags, belt bags, call it whatever you want, being passed out by Fifth Third Bank tonight. Meanwhile, players on the field excited for a chance to impress in front of what's going to be a ruckus crowd. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. A look at the Central Division shows, Devin, OKC has made it all the way above the playoff line. What a comeback.
Winless through their first 7 matches. They've definitely turned around in the last 8, Mike, and another opportunity tonight to gain 3 points. It's going to be on the road, though. Think about this. They could jump into third. But with the way the games are set up, they could also drop below the playoff line, be looking up against Atlanta United 2 and Memphis 901 FC. Lot to play. For Louisville City, they're about to lap the field. They want to get right back to business.
Let's talk about how OKC turned this thing around. Don't call it a comeback, Devin, but the new coach, Lee Wiedemann's done a great job.
Wanted to keep the structure that was already in place. Felt like the turnaround was coming on the back portion of that game at Indy 11. Wanted to make sure they strengthened the back line. Now they've changed the formation a little bit, but they've kept their principles. More proactive playing out of the back. Freedom of their boys up front to have a little fun. They're going to need to do that and quantify that by 10 because Louisville City is on a whole nother playing field right now. 11 multi-goal games this season to the tune of 13 different goal scorers. They've equaled the record, by the way, shocking, that they set back in 2016 at this point in time. 9, 8, 10, 8, 11, 10. That's what they've done over the past 5 seasons. Chemistry and consistency reign supreme.
Can Jorge Gonzalez remain consistent? He's our Commonwealth Credit Union player to watch. Commonwealth Credit Union has been bettering lives in the communities they've served for 70 years. Learn more. Visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. Scored last time out.
One of the bigger pickups in the offseason for Louisville City, and finally an opportunity to see him play underneath Cameron Lancaster. That combination is going to be great, but recognize the fact that there are 7 changes in the lineup for Lou City. Masoso will go to the 6. Josh Winder onto the back line. Siegfried gets the nod once again. He'll keep the sweater. Quality last time out. This team needs to keep it 0. They need to stop conceding regardless of how the match is gone. And against a team in OKC Energy FC that has turned it around, this is the lineup that's turned in. Recognize that Declan Wynn can drop into the left back spot. Aiden Daniels can go into the number 10 attacking style move. They can drop into a 4-4-1-1. They can play in a flat 4-4-2. What's important is that they find Jaime Chavez and give him opportunities. Build his confidence, grab some goals, and see if they can get out of here with some points.
Tonight's starting lineups were presented by Hometown Pizza. So we're nearing kickoff. No fanny packs necessary watching from home. Louisville City taking on Oklahoma City Energy for the 3rd time all time when we return.
I can feel it on the back of my tongue. All of the words getting trapped in my lungs. Oh, I gotta let it out.
Get $1,000 customer cash on any stylish new 21 Corolla, $750 on America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry, or lease Camry for just $229 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
After being cooped up all spring, it's time to get outside and enjoy the summer of now. With amazing rates, Adventure Loans from Commonwealth Credit Union let you hit the road, or no road at all, with UTVs, ATVs, and motorcycles, and our recreational loans for boats, motorhomes, and campers. This year, make the most of every day and stay cool for the summer with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Bengals football is back. Watch Mix and Make 'em Miss and the Cincy D take on Brady and Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay. Bengals versus Bucs, August 14th on WDRB.
Oh, it's a
tiara. A tiara. I have a tiara. Put it on me. 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 Put it on me.
You look beautiful.
Of course I do. I'm a princess, and this is my tiara.
WBKI After Hours start with 10 o'clock Big Bang.
Last year, WDRB and our friends in Louisville helped raise more than $600,000 for cancer research for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Because all a family should worry about is helping their child survive.
This year, both Kentucky and Southern Indiana can participate in WDRB's St. Jude Dream Home Giveaway. You can win a $500,000 house with just one ticket. Get your tickets now at WDRB.com.
Closing in on kickoff between Louisville City and Oklahoma City Energy FC. Tonight's match is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, making banking a Fifth Third better. Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville, Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Louisville City trying to make it 10 of 11 with points. This is a side that is in tremendous form, Dev. And if you talk to people in the Eastern Conference, no one's surprised. But everyone's a little bit concerned that this juggernaut can't be stopped.
Shouldn't be a little bit, should be very concerned. This is the time of year where they usually turn it on. If they're turning it on, comparative to seasons past, what have they done so far? Because this team is running away from the competition in the division, in the Eastern Conference. And then the West is starting to take notice as well. Who's going to take down the supporter shield? Right now, Lou City have a pretty good argument for that.
For all that Louisville's done, they have never won the regular season title. They've been near the top, but the concept of a regular season title last year is so different. Cameron Lancaster returns and gets the opening kick of the ball to begin the night here in Louisville. Lou City taking on Oklahoma City on this Saturday evening, a gorgeous night in Kentucky. Oklahoma City 4-6-5. They started 5 losses, 3 draws to begin the year, and since they have totally turned this thing around. Their only loss since that time was here against Louisville on July 14th. Akil Watts inserted into the starting 11. This is his 7th start of the year. Tosh. Gonzalez. Watts. By Hopino. Danny Cruz told us there was no warning from Antoine Hopino that he was cutting his hair. He just showed up to training and the locks were gone.
The alter ego subsides. And then again, you did get the return of the great striker that is Antoine Hopino and his ability to break down the defensive lines. Not that he wasn't doing before, but no luck to assist him in that process.
Hopino
drops some excess baggage and feeling a lot better about himself.
Figuratively and literally, I suppose. CJ Cochran catches that. That's a nice, clean cut.
It's easy to maintain, too. Grab one of the boys in the locker room with the Clippers after a match. All right, boys, who's up? Scored another goal. Need a little up-down fade going.
Winder went up to contest. And driven away from Daniels. Chavez was running in behind. And given away by Ward. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Skip and bone step. So you realized you let that get away. Tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program.
We'll start with the visitors and the hot pocket of space that is underneath BJF, Daniels, and Chavez. This team looks much more fluid in their attack moving forward. The problem they will run into is as that turns over and Lou City starts to dance on the ball to distribute from their back line forward, there's this space just behind Chavez. They have to be careful of because that's where the 6 for Louisville City and Sean Tosh off the back line will step into to get the movement going forward. For Louisville City, watch your 6. That starts with Napo Masoso literally sitting in the number 6 spot. That's also to watch your backside, your shoulder. Make sure that the runs coming through by OKC Energy FC in the new rotation that is Lead Wiedman's system are covered. Also, watch your backside, watch those fanny packs. Only 5,000 plus given out. Don't let someone snag it from you.
Osmond. Just came off the knee of Brown.
Did tell you that I wouldn't be surprised if it's turned into an out-and-out flat back 4 for Energy FC. I understand we're only a couple of minutes in, but it is important to take notice of what that movement looks like defensively for them. Man, at the bottom of your screen right there, 28, Declan Wynn on loan from Phoenix Rising. Great talent, just struggling for playing time out west, and the relationship that was cultivated between the two clubs understood that he just needed an opportunity. As you bring him in, he's got the attacking prowess to get up and down the left flank, but they need help on the back line, so he will sit next to Mitch Osmond. What is interesting is what they're doing. They're still leaving Bijev high at this point in time. Now, does he continue to stay on that front 3 with Chavez or Daniels? Because there is a lot of space in behind. That's where Akil Watts and Opano can take advantage.
Comes to Tosh. Oklahoma City switched to a 3-back in the second half of the meeting a few weeks ago. Lee Wiedman pleased enough with it to continue with that formation against Tulsa. And Devin, when we spoke to Danny Cruz earlier this week, you asked him about playing the same team over and over again and what that's like as a coach. He said part of it is reminding the players in the dressing room, you're going to see this team again, so remember that 3-back that they exhibited, because you might see it in 2 weeks. Chipped forward for Lancaster. Bijev. Masoso. Bone. Ridden out by Chavez. Flicked ahead by Gonzalez. And taken by Cochran.
Conversely, think about what that journey has been like since that change in the second half. Coronado, now the main cause of it was injuries in the game. Coronado, their outside back goes down, Sam Rogers steps in. That's not a big change. But with the loss of Zach Ellis-Hayden, that was a problem. Basulovic came off at halftime, just really wasn't fancying himself within that game. So as you make all of those changes, you start to tweak it. The second half is rocky, we'll say. They did fight back in though and grab a goal from Bijev. The next game, Black Gold Derby. That's an emotional match from start to finish. Sporting Kansas City 2 and all the players that they sent up to their MLS parent club. A lot of different movements that they didn't necessarily think they were going to see that happened. So it's been 2.5 very different games for Energy FC, who are still trying to find themselves comfortable within their own skin.
Holpino lets this bounce through. Pumps the brakes. Holpino, Lancaster. Scooped up here, Gonzalez for Bone. Watts. Gonzalez sends it low. Cochran puts it over the crossbar. Holpino growing more and more confident, but he's had a few opportunities go wayward this year. He hopes that's not a sign of things to come.
This is why they call this the beautiful game, and the rotation that is Lou City on display in front of you. Doesn't get much better than this, and even when the first one broke down, they slow it up, rotate it back to the outside, allow the run to come through, and then pick out the runner on the 6.
Vivify corner kick from Watts. This bounces off of Tosh on the clearance. Watts will get another look. McLaughlin, header is just wide by Lancaster. Cameron Lancaster returning from a series of injuries over the past month.
Had to move quickly to get out of the way, as Lou City did as well, but pay the credit that's due to CJ Cochran on the save. And as they come back across here, watch the near post. That's close. Cameron Lancaster trying to beat the goalkeeper. Another great ball played in. He's not that far off. CJ Cochran gonna have his work cut out for him tonight.
Winder goes back, Siegfried. What do you make of the goalkeeping situation right now for Louisville? Chris Hubbard came into the season hot competition. Siegfried has started 2 games against Kansas City. He was loaned on an emergency basis to SKC in MLS briefly earlier this year. So his 3rd start tonight, Parker Siegfried.
There's a couple of ways to view it. Number one, they've got great depth, so understand that. It's work that was put in the offseason for really a staff that recognized the goalkeeping position was the most obvious area that they needed to address with the departure of Ben Loon. Obviously wasn't coming back on loan from FC Cincinnati. As he goes, we've seen the quality of Chris Hubbard in seasons past. Can he replicate that? That's a big question. 2019 was when he took the reins, but remember, he became the #1 towards the end of this season. They heavily struggled. At one point in time, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, there were 5 goalkeepers that stepped on the pitch that season.
Correct.
That was Dobrovolsky, Chris Hubbard was involved, Casey Clark. There was the, if I'm not mistaken, that was the Brian Holt year as well.
It was in
so
Kansas
there's 4
City.
right there. And so that was a struggle with injury, a struggle with form. You're seeing some of that now where, what does it look like for Simon Lefebvre? In and out of the 18. So there's obviously a competition at the #2 spot, but now that there's a competition within 1, who wants to be the guy? The goalkeeping position is about confidence, and when you're playing well, how do you maintain that? But when you're not playing well, how do you get back up to it? That's one of the harder positions to fight in on the entire team. And that's where Lou City's at right now. So Danny Cruz is just giving guys opportunities. And if you're Siegfried, it's yours to lose right now. You've stepped into it. Back-to-back games. Most importantly, when asked, and it sounds simple, but those guys got to start making saves because it's not going to be perfect every time you step onto the pitch. You are going to be challenged. Lou City has to stop conceding, especially down the stretch. Got them in trouble at Colorado Springs. Could have gotten them in trouble last time out against Sporting Kansas City too. They're looking to shore that position up as fast as possible.
Attempt to slip through. Now Watts, and it's Bone. Now Hopino off the base of the post. Lancaster goes in and commits a foul. Seems clear, no handball on the initial effort here by Bone, and then Hopino.
It's kind of one of those things for Antoine Hopino. What do you have to do, though? Perfect defending by Connor Donovan. The arms behind him, close to the torso. Well taken by Hopino just to get this off his chest and react and get it back on frame. Denied by the woodwork. CJ Cochran once again can breathe a sigh of relief.
Hopino scored in that game you just mentioned against Colorado Springs. Final 20 minutes, Louisville would concede the final 10 minutes. 1-1 draw in a game that started just shy of 11 o'clock Eastern time. Devin, the conversation about Hopino was he's confident. A lot of individual meetings to get him right, but they feel like he does so much beyond goal scoring. If they get that last piece going, he could be the juggernaut of years past. Rogers back for CJ Cochran. One of a handful of guys with Fresno FC ties. That was Lee Wiedman's previous stop. He was the assistant coach and head of performance under Adam Smith. Did a wonderful job piloting that side from expansion to playoffs. Tosh. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship, many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Lancaster ricochets in off either Osmond, the trailing Donovan. Corner.
Would say that although you are going to be concerned, if you're Lee Veidman, the fact that these opportunities are coming fast and furious for Lou City. You have to pay credit to the positioning of the boys on the back line so far. Osman, Donovan, the right back of Sam Rogers, and even Declan Wynn tucking in. We talked about the role that he's going to have to play as these shots come through. There's bodies there.
Watts with a Vivify corner kick. And announcing one, I suppose. Lofted again. Snagged by Cochran.
Have you had a sport where your name is involved in a match before?
This is the second time.
I mean, outside of having Akil Watts.
There was a defensive lineman, Arkansas State, maybe?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know there's another Devin Kerr. That's a whole different
We know about that
one. Yep. Goalkeeper in the NWSL. Sponsored by a glove company that tagged our Devin Kerr.
Still haven't gotten anything free
No
in the mail,
gloves.
by the way.
Oh.
I guess they found out I wasn't exactly a goalkeeper. Either that or it wasn't the right person. One of the two.
Here's Donovan and Bijev are satisfied, having spoken with the referee. Osman. Oh, room out here. The offside flag had gone up. Adam Kilpatrick is the referee tonight. Winder. Second start for the 16-year-old from Louisville. He's played 61 minutes professionally. Started against Atlanta, 22 of 26 as a passer. Trio of interceptions. Free kick coming for Oklahoma City just past the quarter-hour mark.
It's going to seem like a poor area, but for Sean Tosh, it's do or die in this situation. You have to step in and make a tackle because of the extremely poor giveaway from Jorge Gonzalez. You can't risk it at that point in time. Got to release the ball sooner because as you turn it, that's prime real estate for Energy FC to step into. You want to make that move just over the center circle, even 30 yards from the opponent's goal, that's fine. But 40, 45 yards from your own net when you don't have the numbers defensively, Energy FC, regardless of their standing in the table at this point in time and how they started the year, they're starting to click right now. They'll make you pay in those situations.
Bijev stands over the ball. He's been the offensive talisman thus far, the former Liverpool Academy product. 5 goals, 3 assists. Bijev. Settled by Brown. Header smashed away. Chavez may have been in an offside position, didn't go after it. Comes over to Declan Wynn. Rare instance of an intra-league loan. Feels like that doesn't happen a lot in the championship, but Phoenix wanted him to get time. Oklahoma City needed an outside back due to a scourge of injuries. Here he is.
The saving grace being that Energy FC have come to the Eastern Conference this year.
Win. Pumped by Siegfried.
You wonder if that same move goes down if they're still in the West like previous seasons.
And you and I have had the chance to ask both Rick Shantz and Lee Veidman about the conversations that happen there. It's fascinating. Oftentimes you send a player to League One or an MLS player comes to the championship or vice versa in the case of a lot of MLS affiliated clubs. Wynn breaks the mold a little bit, but 15 caps for New Zealand. He's no newcomer.
For him, one of the issues he ran into early on in the season wasn't form.
It was Ryan Flood.
Yeah, there you go. It was the entrance of Ryan Flood into the Phoenix Rising equation, but more importantly for him, Mike, to be honest, it was visas. He couldn't get his visa. Couldn't even get on the field. That had nothing to do with his ability to put together a performance. Right about the time that started to come through, you're looking at a Phoenix Rising team that had Ryan Flood. They also picked up Tate Schmidt on loan from Real Salt Lake. So the pecking order quite rapidly wasn't maybe a chance for one. You're looking at third best. And that's not a knock on Declan Wynn. That's just the way things played out.
If you can't fight for your position, such is the nature. Comes out to Watts. Crafts across. Nobody home. Pops out to Sharpie. Heavily rotated Louisville side, 7 changes, handful of major names left out of the 18 altogether. Injuries Louisville doesn't want to see get worse. Pat McMahon, Niall McCabe, Tyler Gibson, Paolo Del Piccolo.
I would take some of that with a grain of salt too, because of 3 games in 8 days. They go from Louisville City to Colorado Springs, play a Friday game that was late, we'll say. Up after
was
dark.
Described then the reason why you don't play soccer on a mountain.
Perfectly said by whoever tagged that line. Then in an odd week, you play midweek, and you go Friday, Wednesday, and then immediately turn around on what you would call 2 days rest. I put a question mark on the backside of that because you're traveling and trying to prepare for the next game.
Gonzalez for Lancaster.
So with the boys that they have held out, I would say that a lot of that is just precautionary, to be honest. Make sure that you don't further the issues that may or may not be there.
Louisville's Twitter account described one of the keys to the game tonight as a load management. Fair enough. Free kick, Oklahoma City. All the while, Devin, we saw Oscar Jimenez training this week for the first time in a while. He cracked a shot, and video shows the rest of the team going, he's back. Lancaster. All the formation flexibility Louisville has exhibited. You had a player like Oscar Jimenez, who's a guaranteed starter when he's healthy historically in Louisville. You know you've got Gomez out on the left, who's available off the bench tonight for similar reasons as the prior outline players. Got some tough decisions to make personnel-wise. Danny Cruz has told us time and time again, we think there's 25, 26 guys who could start any given night here or anywhere else.
One of the main talking points for this team coming into the season was with the departure of Oscar Jimenez and what that rotation on the back line looked like. It was, hey, we need to get Jogo and Oscar on the field at the same time. What does that look like is what fans should be asking when it does happen.
Bijev somehow maintaining, and now Wynn crossing through. Wynn was offside, but let's just say that run by Bijev wasn't the most graceful, but got the job done.
It was great perseverance by William Bijev in the midfield, and a timing issue on the outside by Declan Wynn. I do like the versatility you get out of having Mitch Osmond behind him, so accustomed to the system that is that 3 under Martin Rennie at Indy 11, and with his acquisition, you slide him onto the back. Yeah, we know Osmond, Donovan, and whoever the third is could play in that 3. Of course, the switch, it's been Sam Rogers, but with Wynn as an out-and-out marking back that's so offensively minded, you can pump him up into the midfield. That's the space that I talked about behind Bijev, where he's good enough you can step into it, but still have the coverage behind defensively because of Mitch Osmond. It's when they start to open the game up and it goes quicker, that's when you start to have to ask questions, because it's easy to make those decisions when the game is as methodical it is right now. A lot of passes, interchange, yes, but it's not long balls really challenging either team. They're trying to build and play through. They're playing proper right now. So as the game starts to evolve, can you hold that same sort of rhythm within your squad where there's the quick rotation, you bump one up, but then he can also help out and turn it into a 4. That'll be the question for Energy FC as this game goes on and starts to progress further, especially with the changes that Lou City can make.
Cochran. Well, if you're Louisville, that's a free ball back you didn't need to give. Cochran once more. 24th minute, scoreless between Louisville and Oklahoma City. It's been a remarkable turnaround for OKC from cellar dwelling to playoff positioned. Louisville, on the other hand, never really felt out of the mix, but now top team in the East, looking to build upon their lead in the Central Division. For Louisville, this is the most goals they've ever scored in the first 15 games of a season. They're on 31. Lobbed in Bone's direction. Trying to get around Mitchell Osmond. That's easier said than done. Viedman applauds. Louisville comes into possession here. Believe it or not, if Louisville wins tonight, they had 11 wins in the regular season last year, that truncated regular season. They'd have a chance to have nearly identical record to how they were through 16 games last year. They were 11-3-2. They could be 10-3-3.
Amazing what happens when you return all those players, right?
Bone. Openo tried to combine. Chance to open this up for Charlie Ward. Chavez. Winder stepped in, now Lancaster pressing backward, and it's a foul from Cameron Lancaster. Team leading 7 goals on the year. Rogers. Brown. Speaking of players around for Louisville, it's a lengthy list. For Oklahoma City, think about the names they lost as opposed to the sheer numbers. Chavez got sliced out. And there's some players like Frank Lopez who were in and out last year, unavailable today. But Cody Lorendi has been the face of that franchise. Christian Ibiaga, Kyle Highland, Rafael Garcia, Tiba Harris, Cordell Cato, Ray Sari, Jose Hernandez. Talking starters consistently in this league or in Oklahoma City prior. Openo, adios. And ahead now for Bone. Swatted at, and now Cochran will step up.
Really good idea from Juan Openo trying to pick out Corbin Bone. The ball is extremely difficult to get to slow down, though. Hit with pace on the outside of the foot.
Sharpie.
To get that thing to check up. Almost impossible. I wondered for Wes Sharpie if this was actually going to tuck itself inside. CJ Cochran not willing to take a chance on that.
Winder will put this out. August is USL Supporters Month, and we want to hear from you. Visit uslchampionship.com/supporters-month for more information on how you can get involved and have a chance to be featured as the supporter of the week. It's rumored but not confirmed that any photo of you in a team branded fanny pack will give you at least 50% better odds being supporter of the week.
That's the poll going around, right?
That's what I've been told. Sources. Tosh.
Making a mistake, but he got right back on it. Well done.
Bone. Well, there's the mistake. Offside.
I was about to make a reference to the far side, but well done to club back in.
Polpino.
Taxi. Whoever's in charge of the audio section this evening.
They're on it.
Credit. Give them kudos.
I saw a tweet here a few weeks ago of a microphone that was hanging up over the supporters section saying, I really apologize for the things that I may or may not have said in casual conversation as it relates to the broadcast. The irony was, that wasn't our microphone.
I'm not questioning the home supporters group. I just feel like there's more lead vocals in supporting cast than normal. The rhythm section is always there.
We'll find Chavez. He hasn't gotten all that much service yet.
This is where they need to go faster, though, Energy FC. The retreat of all the purple jerseys. Everybody's too quick to drop back, and they'll always leave Lancaster centrally located. We know that. But you don't want to remove your best asset moving forward. Right now, Mike, that's space. The second that you start to slow this down, that gives them the ability to track back. And defensively, they're just too good. So that quick counter that we've seen in other matches, including the second half here against Louisville City, I would continue to stoke that fire. Jaime Chavez is doing a good job when the balls are being played in his feet and that hold-up play, but you got to start to play off of him. Give him an option once he drops down to play back in through and then down into the channels. That's the advancement of Jonathan Brown on the right, and whether or not you can have the balance and still push Declan Wynn on the left.
Ward. There's several dollars going in the guitar case, so to speak, right now from the fans appreciating the lead vocals tonight. The world's most lethally adorable soccer supporter capo drum line and the musical heartbeat of Louisville City. Beer is fuel, the groove machine. Chavez and Tosh being read the riot act. Dev, what instrument would you be adding to this mix if it's you?
What am I adding or what am I taking for my own?
No, you're adding.
I thought you were going to ask me what I would take.
If you were to play with the grid, if you were to play with the curse, if you were to play with, you know, the groove machine.
That's the easiest answer that I can ever give to you. More cowbell.
Okay.
Big cowbell fan.
Polpino. Lancaster.
I have been known to toy with the triangle every now and then.
Have you ever played a literal empty bourbon barrel? Because that's going on over there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the reason I was barred from returning to Buffalo Trace. And the rest of the bourbon trail, word spread quickly. That little black list, you go into the book, it exists.
Do not admit this, commentator. Masoso drops in between the center backs. Tosh. Hold out here for Watts. Came awkwardly off of Osmond and played ahead with McLaughlin chasing. Cochran clears the line. Ward.
The defensive understanding of Jaime Chavez to try and cut off the outlet ball to Napo Masoso. As he comes, that creates an overload on the inside for Energy FC defensively. They'll like that.
Daniels. Beyond win.
Quiet for Aiden Daniels so far. Such a technically gifted player for Energy FC. One of the ones coming over from Colorado Springs that, you know, I say this in the most respectful way. The COVID era didn't affect him. What I mean that is in terms of statistics. He had a quality season last year out there. And with all of the change, that wasn't necessarily a knock on him as a player that he didn't have his services retained. It was more so with the regime came a new system that he didn't necessarily fit into. That's okay. As a player, you can't take that as a spite. You don't fit, you don't fit. And not every player has the ability to evolve within a change like that. But for Energy FC, a great pickup. He can play anywhere you want him to on the interior in terms of the midfield. Now, you'd obviously like to have Charlie Ward at the bottom of that, but you can push him up high as well.
Bone rolls this. Gonzalez from Masoso. It's one thought too many. Slide in by Ward. Kept by Louisville momentarily. Brown reverses to Cochran, who clears. Shot numbers show the Oklahoma City attack hasn't gotten fully in gear yet. Daniels, a year in Colorado Springs, a year in Ottawa as well, and then 3 before that with Toronto FC. He was a homegrown player for TFC back in the Greg Vanny era.
On those 8 shots for Lou City, remember the 2 that hit the frame were inside the first 15 minutes, so nothing that's really tested the goalkeeper since then. Distance and half chances have reigned supreme over the opening 35 minutes for the home squad. As Napo Masoso starts to come deeper, that benefits Energy FC, and there has to be a tweak from Louisville. You either start to play to the exterior a bit quicker like this, or you find a way to get Corbin Bone more involved, because Gonzalez is going to play the advanced role.
Watts. So. Going back to this for a moment, have you ever called a game with a Kerr in it? I know a Kerr is coached in it. We'll get back to it. Masoso. Take it on by Bijev.
All right, I'm ready for you. That's what happens when someone's barking orders in your ear. I apologize.
This is a Wendy's, sir. Masoso, I know you've done John Kerr's games.
Yes. Junior.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have not done a Devin Kerr game.
No.
Has there ever been another Kerr in a game you've called?
Never.
McLaughlin. Ooh, all the way in. Louisville does score. Somehow that snuck into the net. There's a deflection somewhere. McLaughlin takes the credit. 1-0 Louisville. And that is a truly baffling goal.
Not a lot of touches for McLaughlin in the first half, but as he peels off, he gets into his sweet spot. In a one-on-one with the ability to attack the byline, that's all you can ask. And it's the deflection off the near post as this comes back across. As great as he's been in the first half, Connor Donovan with the redirect. You can't blame the center back. Trying to get a piece on it, move it out of the danger zone. Unfortunately for him, just started the party in Louisville.
That goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery.
That's just one of those things, Mike, to be honest. We talked about the positioning so far in the first half, how even though in certain areas, especially that first 15 minutes we referenced, it had broken down, they still had numbers. They pushed those attacks away, kept the game in front of them. Even though this breaks down a tiny bit, the fact that you give Louisville the opportunity to even bring the ball back across, they still had support on the inside. Donovan was there, Mitch Osman was there, Sam Rogers, the space, trying to reach out to it. If it doesn't go in the back of the net there, it's a tough ask for anyone in a Louisville jersey that they're going to bury it. That's the way the game goes sometimes.
Osman showing off. Well done by Hiroki Kurimoto, who has one of the most fascinating stories, I think, in league history. He was playing for Honda in Japan for 4 or 5 seasons. So he had a job at Honda, and he was also the J-League MVP. So you're talking the best player in the Japanese First Division multiple times. He flew himself to Fresno for a tryout, got a professional contract, continues now in Oklahoma City with Lee Wiedemann, picked up here by Cochran. 31 years old. He didn't get a chance to come to the U.S. until 2018. So you're talking a guy in his late 20s taking a shot at Fresno, then Colorado Springs, and now into Oklahoma City.
Anyone that puts up supporting numbers to the tune of a combination of 79 goals and assists, remember that's combined, is doing something right. 172 appearances. 60% of the time, you're influencing this game. And speaking of influencing this game, just watch the little tweak here on the backside for C.J. Cochran, but those are crazy numbers.
This may be a bit more serious. Sam Rogers just motioned for the athletic trainer. Cochran wants to talk it out with the referee. The referee's saying he may well be able to continue. Cochran's up and moving. 41st minute. Cochran only beaten once, but it was by his own player. Let's get another look at Louisville's opener in this game.
Watch the numbers again. Kurimoto right at the top of the box. As this thing gets cut back across, Mike, you've got Openo, you've got Lancaster, but look where they're buried. There are 3 white jerseys in front. A little concern would be the fact that Declan Wynn hadn't slid over further. That's also the late peeling off nature that is the greatness of Cameron Lancaster. Defensively, they were set up to succeed. Sometimes that's just the way the ball bounces.
Donovan's own goal in the 37th minute, an unlucky difference maker at this stage as Oklahoma City is concerned. This, however, is a poor giveaway, but Gonzalez a heavy touch. And Osmond will slalom out of pressure and quickly launch it through Bijev. The flag stays down. Bijev making a run in. Bijev rolls it across. Slide in by Chavez. He doesn't get there. Siegfried a hair late. And now a foul from Chavez sliding in on the 50-50 ball.
The contact occurs on the backside of the tackle with Jaime Chavez trying to get a last-ditch effort on the back post. On a heck of an extension from a recovery run by Josh Winder. This ball that comes through, how does it not come quicker for Villian Bijev? So much space to put this on a rope. They still find it through. I was with everybody on the backside for Louisville City. Looked like he was in an offside position. Can't stop, and then just a follow through. Look, foresight, it was on the actual back of Winder as opposed to the neck area that he was moving through, but still, those are the moments that I talked about. Again, you play quick, take advantage of the space that's in front of you, You don't have to go through all the steps against Lou City. Take what's given and capitalize.
Winders back up and about now for Louisville. 44th minute. Oklahoma City trying to avoid losing a second consecutive game here against Louisville. The 2 return games, it's 4 games against teams in the division, come in September in Oklahoma City, August and September rather. The sides hadn't met since 2015, different conferences. Sadly, it was St. Louis who had to play the role of conference jumper, group jumper, division jumper. Floated over Wynn. He and Cochran have that under control. High bounce over Daniels. Winder, Tosh. Driven forward by Bone. So. Couple tough touches in this first half for Napo Masoso. Will this spring energy forward win? Kurimoto, 1 additional minute in this first half. Stoppage time is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Osmond galloping forward, and his legs taken out. Winder, who's been very active and aggressive, hopping off the back line, picks up the yellow. It's a Vivify yellow card for Joshua Winder. Brother Elijah picked up an injury in the offseason. Brutal leg injury that sees him out for the campaign. Winder just 7 days older than his brother when he signed. 16 years, 2 months, 13 days as opposed to 16, 2, and 6.
Knapp checks out. Bijev, have to imagine that it's not going to go direct. Didn't think so.
He's looking for Donovan, who snags that in the air and knocks it across, cleared over the bar.
It's an odd sequence for the back line of Louisville City. Losing their marks, you know that he's not going to hit this thing from 40 yards out. How quickly this space opens up on this little dinked ball over the top. More importantly, the fact that you've got the speed. And Jimmy McLaughlin, how does he let that happen?
Yes.
Vivify corner for Villian Bijev. Foul. Gonzalez went to ground. Mistake aside, it was a pretty brilliant set piece in theory, having Donovan almost square up and send that through. Rogers was there, he wasn't the only one. And into halftime we go. The own goal is the difference maker right now. Came off the head of Connor Donovan in the 37th minute, 1-0 Louisville.
Odd. An odd first half on the goal that was the sequence to finish off the tail end of this 45 minutes. Lou City's got to find a way to get Cameron Lancaster in this game. Feed it into his feet, play off of him. The front 3 outside of Openo, and even that has been sparingly, haven't been given enough of an opportunity to succeed. Talked about the relationship with Lancaster and Jorge Gonzalez. Let's see it. We haven't seen anything in the first half for Energy FC. Same game plan in the second half. Spring forward more efficiently than we saw in the first.
Halftime in Louisville. You know what that means. Serve Pro halftime is coming up. A look around the Eastern Conference, a look around the league. You know you want to see news and notes. 1-0 Louisville at the half.
Olympic Games are on, and so is Toyota's national sales event. Now's the time to get a great deal on the 2021s while they last, like Camry, Highlander, RAV4, and more. Ooh, she sticks the landing.
Get $750 customer cash on any new 21 Highlander or Highlander Hybrid, or 2.9 financing. Get $750 on an adventurous new RAV4 or a $209 a month lease.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
After being cooped up all spring, it's time to get outside and enjoy the summer of now. With amazing rates, Adventure Loans from Commonwealth Credit Union let you hit the road, or no road at all, with UTVs, ATVs, and motorcycles, and our recreational loans for boats, motorhomes, and campers. This year, make the most of every day and stay cool for the summer with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
When we hit the field, it's game on.
Louisville City FC is on the hunt for our third star. This is our city, Louisville City. The city of soccer, the city of champions. No matter where you're watching the match, when we take the field, we're doing it for you, for us, and for the city.
Watch Louisville City FC take on Sporting Kansas City 2 August 7th at 7:30 on WBKI. Presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. The Carson Wentz era begins in Indy. Indianapolis takes on Carolina and their new QB Darnold in a marquee showdown. Panthers at Colts, August 15th on WBKI.
Sheldon's log. I've observed a strange pattern in my personal universe. 5 cookies, 5 baseballs, 5 stacks of cash, 5 margaritas. The pattern predicted a great cosmic event to come.
Young Sheldon, 5 times a week this September.
7 o'clock on WBKI. Start September 27th.
Serve Pro halftime from Lynn Family Stadium in Kentucky. Oklahoma City on the road here for the second time in this venue this season. Louisville with the advantage. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. We usually do the dish.
Yes.
But we're doing the dish live, and these games are live.
It's an appetizer, it's an entree, and it is dessert. Derek Dodson, once again, the low knee, the college standout, turned graduate, turned goal scorer in the first half against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. What a ball into the bottom corner. Nothing you can do there. Hartford Athletic, 7-0 when scoring in the first half, 7-1 when scoring first. That doesn't look good for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, nor does it that Jeff Caldwell is once again in fine form, making a nice name for himself for goalkeeper of the year. That was in the 33rd minute off the shot by Williams. Albert Dequa. How this doesn't end up in the back of the net, I will never know. I'll tell you how I know. Jeff Caldwell, once again, phenomenal save. Just on the other side of halftime, though, as we are in the 63rd minute between these two. They are knotted up at one, and it's because of that man right there, Alex Dixon. Quality finish into the back of the net.
Dodson, Dixon, 1-1. How about we turn, I never get a roll in the dish. This is great. Charlotte and Tampa Bay in the Atlantic Division.
The Independents trying to get back on track. The Tampa Bay Rowdies already solved that equation last week. Remember, 3 winless. First time since 2017. They get back on the board, trying to do it again against a Charlotte Independence team that has just struggled, to be fair. Connor Antley from distance. Brandon Miller back to his saving ways. And then there's that bad man again. Back from injury, Dane Kelly, back of the net, another goal. The USL Championship all-time leading scorer just continues to add to his tally. Not many a player get the best of Forrest Lasso. It happens for the Great Dane.
And the beautiful new American Legion Memorial Stadium gets a look at those abs. The score there is 1-0. How about in Colorado Springs? There is a goal in this game. I'm not sure we'll see it.
No, not going to happen.
Too soon.
Just telling you.
Okay.
Paz, good strike. What a talented player Paz is for Loudoun United. Love the ability, and actually speaking with another coach that Blue City may or may not have had some involvement in the past, talked about how much of an admiration they have for Loudoun United because of the fact that they want to play. They are not intimidated by anybody. Watch this right here. Andre Lewis. Again, another one that you're shocked doesn't go in. Michi Galina, his speed, 100 miles an hour from start to finish. You can't stop, you can only hope to contain. And another good save on the backside by Jermaine Forda. There would be a goal that would come in the form of Michael Edwards, believe it or not.
Literally a minute ago.
Literally a minute ago. 63rd minute, Switchbacks FC up 1-0 on the road.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. It's sponsored by COSAIR Charities. Help a child in our community now at cosair.org/donate. This is all tonight on the Plus.
Orange County trying to keep pace in the Pacific with Phoenix Rising. Struggled last time out, and for an Oakland Roots team, Mike, that we know is trying to get back on track, this is a great opportunity for them to, at home, build a little bit of momentum. They have Phoenix Rising midweek on the nationally televised game for USL Championship. San Antonio trying to recover after their midweek loss to El Paso Locomotive on the road at Austin. Austin not given enough credit for the performances put forth so far.
And what a wonderful job by our crew pulling together all those highlights here at halftime. That's remarkable. 1-0 Louisville. We've got highlights from this game, news and notes from around the league, and oh so much more when we return.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
The 18, the Marcus Sargent goes to his left, hard strike, and it's in the net, 2-1 Oakland.
Split shit, another massive stop. Shoots, deflected, and a big save from Rawls. As Asante takes this on. Oh, that's a tremendous goal from Solo.
Since the beginning of this worldwide crisis, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has been flying essential travelers across the country and around the world. We want all travelers to know that we have implemented processes and procedures to ensure your health and safety. We have nonstop flights to over 30 destinations nationwide and easy connections to hundreds more around the globe. When you need to fly, fly Louisville.
At Mortensen Family Dental, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep your smile healthy. That's why we provide convenient online scheduling for new patients, accept most dental insurances, and offer an affordable dental discount club for those without insurance. All the while keeping your family's safety our top priority. Call or visit us online to make an appointment. We'll give you a reason to smile.
Welcome to Toyota's National Sales Event.
Thanks, I'm here for a great deal.
Great deals are kind of our thing. You can save on the 2021s while they last, like Camry, Venza, Corolla.
Watching them come and go is really getting to my neck.
Occupational hazard this time of year. Gotta keep it loose.
With new vehicles arriving daily, your Toyota dealer has great deals on the legendary 4Runner and the best-selling Toyota Tacoma, with 2 years no-cost maintenance included.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to Lynn Family Stadium and halftime presented by Serve Pro. Louisville City and Oklahoma City at the break. Mike Watts and Devin Kerr to walk you through some news and notes. We've promised them. Here they are. No more lab.
Still going to experiment with what that name's going to be, though. Peter Trevisani walking us through on USL All Access what it was going to look like in the future. They've gotten the culture right. Their results are right there. Now they will have their own venue to call home. Soccer-specific stadium. I'm here for it. Joe Kuzminski, penalty save, assist, and a clean sheet. And here, I was just out making brownies. It's a reluctant performance by myself on Friday night. Try and keep pace with Joe Kuzminski. Wednesday, Phoenix Rising, Oakland Roots. Finally going to see it. Can't wait.
Yep, Phoenix and Oakland meeting Wednesday on ESPN2. Here's the Central Division primer once again. And both these sides have gotten results against SKC too lately, but if you look at Indy, Memphis, Atlanta, who's most likely to make the leap?
Right now, I'd say Memphis 901 FC.
Agreed.
The way that they've played, the results that they're putting in. Indy turned it around for a second, but I guess it's not really a turnaround if it's not consistent. It's just a couple good results, right? Now they're dropping. It's moving day, though. Birmingham Legion hosting Atlanta United 2, 901 FC, and what they're going to do. Remember, games split between Saturday and Sunday this week. They are at Sporting Kansas City 2. This division's now all over the place. Still top heavy, though.
Yeah, don't talk about tomorrow. We need to talk about the middle of the week. There were a ton of games, including the SKC Louisville game, 2-1 Lou City there. Tulsa losing to Atlanta.
Can't do that. If you want to be recognized as a consistent contender, not just within the division, Mike, but within the league, you got to win those games, even if it is on the road. El Paso Locomotive, hold on. Questionable penalty. Some people say it. Louisville City, as we mentioned, stopped conceding. Las Vegas Lights turned it off for Orange County, who just can't seem to track down Phoenix Rising. And guess what? Neither can San Diego Loyal. Back-to-back losses after going 9 unbeaten.
And that's a reminder that puns are always appreciated when it comes to energetic teams. Louisville and OKC Energy FC at halftime. Plenty more presented by ServPro after these messages.
At Mortensen Family Dental, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to keep your smile healthy. That's why we provide convenient online scheduling for new patients, accept most dental insurances, and offer an affordable dental discount club for those without insurance. All the while keeping your family's safety our top priority. Call or visit us online to make an appointment. We'll give you a reason to smile.
The Olympic Games are on, and so is Toyota's national sales event. Now's the time to get a great deal on the 2021s while they last, like Camry, Highlander, RAV4, and more. Ooh, she sticks the landing.
Get $750 customer cash on any new 21 Highlander or Highlander Hybrid, or 2.9 financing. Get $750 on an adventurous new RAV4 or a $209 a month lease.
Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport is proud to welcome Breeze Airways with 3 nonstop flights to Charleston, Tampa, and New Orleans.
By the middle of the summer, we'll be in 15 cities, really desirable, cool cities like Charleston, Tampa, New Orleans, and with fares, get this, starting at only $39. Chances are we can get you there twice as fast for half the price. Welcome to Breeze, everybody. Come aboard.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing bright, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
Welcome back to halftime, presented by ServPro. Lou City 1, OKC 0. Let's take a look at first half highlights and get right back to the action. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. So many highlights. We had to really pare this down a little bit. We started in the 7th minute, Dev.
I think that the initial start that is Louisville City was apparent once again in the fact that they like to go 100 miles an hour. It's not start to finish. It's opening 15, 20 minutes. If they don't get a goal, they at least want to set the tempo that, hey, we're going to be the ones in charge. You're going to chase. That was the same thing here once again. Antoine Openo's got to be thinking, what do I have to do to buy a goal? Guess what, buddy? It's going to happen again right now. Far post, not a friend for the Frenchman. Good look for C.J. Cochran trying to pick this thing out. Well done by Connor Donovan. Unfortunately for Lou City, couldn't pick anything out. That would all change as we started to approach halftime. Great move on the far side. Down to the end line as they cut this back across. We talked about it before. Good positioning defensively. Unfortunately, Connor Donovan puts it in the back of his own net. 1-0 off the own goal for Lou City.
Crowd roars, and here's a look at the halftime stats brought to you by C&L Heating and Air.
Here's the problem that I have with all those shots, Mike. Both of the ones that hit the frame, 15 minutes into the match. You played 70% of that first half without going after the goalkeeper. You saw one on the strike from distance that ended up hitting the post. The other one, good look from Cameron Lancaster on the header. If you want to be successful regularly, and Lou City know this, they've got to be better moving forward. They've got to find a way to get the midfield to combine with that front line. There wasn't enough of it. More importantly, there wasn't enough of it in dangerous positions in the first half for Lou City.
Half away from Bijev. Louisville City first in the Central Division. Oklahoma City moving into fourth over the last couple weeks. 4 wins, a loss, 2 draws in their last 7 since what they felt was a turning point game on the field, regardless of what happened shortly thereafter off the field. A 1-1 draw to begin June against Indy 11. And Devin, you asked Lee Wiedman, and I'll turn the barrel on you now. Try to describe the Central Division, because he spoke about the different environments, styles, the climates, all the variables involved in trying to compete in the Central Division. For him, first time being a head coach the same way Danny Cruz can say that. And Indy 11's newcomer coach feels the same way, I'm sure. And Memphis.
I was just going to say, lest we forget that every team outside of Sporting Kansas City 2, FC Tulsa, and Birmingham Legion have a new coach, whether it's at the start of the season or a change on the inside. That's not easy to handle. That's the division in a nutshell. Change. It's a changing of the guard up top right now, and what used to always be Louisville, Indy, and then a couple other teams that we're trying to chase. Birmingham Legion, still not necessarily sure what they want to be. Louisville City, we know what they are. It's the same story every single year, and I'm not being disrespectful, it's a
good story.
Day. It's a great story, absolutely. But you see the resurgence by 901 FC under Ben Pierman. Energy FC, last 8 games, 6 results from a positive standpoint. FC Tulsa, start quick, if you want to call it that, at the beginning of the season. Then it's a mixed bag of results. You think they're back on track. They've now rattled off 3 losses. So the division itself still remains Louisville, Birmingham, and everybody else, because from 3rd till 8th, there's only 6 points in separation. As a coach, that's a very difficult area to navigate. You don't know what to expect.
Clever build-up through Kurimoto. Chavez. Room out here to explore. Off by Wynn. Ward. Turning Daniels. Ward, after Bones stepped in. There's an appeal for a free kick. The referee suggests he was allowing advantage. Corbin Bone wearing the captain's armband here tonight in the absence of Paolo Del Piccolo. Multiple arms shoot up. They want the ball played. It's too hot, and Sharpie sends this over the line. Corbin Bone, to an extent, was John Hackworth's white whale. He was looking at him going to clever there from Chavez. Kurimoto commits a foul trying to hold up Cameron Lancaster. Summer of 2019, they started thinking, we'd like to get Corbin Bone in here, and over the offseason leading into the pandemic-shortened 2020 season, they got him.
More importantly, you get him back to form this season. He was good last year.
Right now, he's one of the best chance creators. Take that for whatever grain of salt you want in the league.
He is, though. If you just watch, there's an eye test with him. That factor has to come into play.
Agree with you, but sometimes the idea of chance created is the concept of any pass that leads to a shot or a shot itself. That's how Opta defines it. He's more than that.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that definition whatsoever.
Correct. So that's why that's the grain of salt.
Yeah, you sit back and just watch it. Again, he's got the understanding from the players behind him, which was what happens with a full calendar season. There's an asterisk next to that. Obviously, the 2020 shortened COVID season. But with a full season underneath your belt, one of the great things about the Louisville squad, Mike, is the fact that it's not second nature, nor is it back of the hand. The way that this team plays, the brotherhood is ingrained within all of these players. no clicks, no little caveats. Those little caveats exist for everybody at every point in time, both on and off the field. And as you gain more experience within a system, that's one thing. But within this system, success is synonymous with time. And that's what's happened for Louisville City with all of their acquisitions over the years.
Cross field for Brown. That portion of tonight's game was brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Head for Bijev. Goes down to one knee. He's just trying to drag that out in front. Bijev, 4 years in Sacramento. 13 goals out there. Well, it didn't feel like he was the answer last year for Mark Briggs. It feels like they're very much still looking for an answer offensively at present. Passed in by Wynn. Donovan. Remoto. Brown taken out by Sharpie. Leveled by Bone. Now McLaughlin. Siegfried. Elsewhere, Alex Dixon just scored. Pittsburgh getting 2 goals. The dynamic winger on the night.
There's just something comforting about Alex Dixon and Bob Lilly in the same sentence.
You'll love to see it.
They belong together.
2-1 against Hartford. And while I won't make any direct comparisons between Central and Atlantic Division, I'll say a team like Hartford was looking for a result against a team like Pittsburgh tonight to make a bit of a statement. Pittsburgh that is so historically done well outside of the quote-unquote division structure in the Eastern Conference in general.
There are certain things within this league that you don't bet against. Bob Lilly,
okay.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
I can't wait to hear the others.
Louisville City.
Going to the conference championship game, at least.
El Paso Locomotive.
The leading in
Not
possession.
drawing.
Okay.
No, it's one of the great things, and I mean that with the highest amount of regard for Mark Lowry. We were even talking about this with one of the coaches in the Western Conference we recently had, and we just kind of talked about it, how there's death, taxes, and draws in El Paso. They're just good at grinding out results, whether that means 3 points or a point. And the coach just turned around and says, and they still find a way to win. That's their MO. It's what they do. They're great at it.
Well, and go one step further. Coach also said, say what you want about El Paso, but they were conference finalists last year and took Phoenix to penalties.
Back to back. Remember,
again.
Back to back. 19 and 20 for El Paso Locomotive. No sophomore slump at all after getting there in 2019 against the Real Monarchs. Louisville City faithful will unfortunately remember how that turned out.
Let's be honest. If you're Oklahoma City, best thing that happened to you was being essentially geographically tied with Tulsa, because the Mountain Division is not where you want to be this year, it turns out. Only 7 teams, you're thinking, well, top 4 make the playoffs, easy peasy, right? Not so much.
It's 10 points between El Paso, as good as they've been with only 1 loss, and 6th place, because there is only 7, San Antonio. That division is the hardest division in the USL Championship, and I know Twitter is going to go nuts on me right now, but certifiably the most difficult, top to bottom, out of all 4 that we have here.
Devin, you know what they say about orchestra directors. You have to turn your back to the crowd in order to actually orchestrate. Turns out this is 2 references to Devin being capable and musically inclined. Alas, well done. Bone leading. Bounces toward Gonzalez and now hammered over Scouse's home and under the Jumbotron.
It is interesting how There's a small breakdown for a squad trying to come out, and then Lou City just pounce. Well done by Corbin Bone on the far side, and there's these small windows that they're so good operating through. You've got the advanced roll by Akil Watts on the right. Corbin Bone recognizes the threat, the little peel off by Gonzalez on the inside. And the bigger concern after the movement is the fact that Mitch Osmond immediately turns to CJ Cochran. There's an exchange of words. He comes over. He hasn't gotten up. He's been down ever since.
There's no such thing as good news to an injury. The silver lining is they can play different formations and feel like they have a multitude of center backs, but Osmond has been tremendous tonight. Louisville's making a trio of changes. Gomez, Ownby, and Davis the fourth set to come on. Opino, Sharpie, one more here, McLaughlin. Subs are brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Gomez for Sharpie, surprise you at all?
No, especially with the way that the back line is sitting for Energy FC. Jonathan Brown and Sam Rogers are just saying, here, take the space. But they weren't doing it because they were creating balance with Watts. Watts was pushing high on the right, and Wes Sharpie was sitting back to help out Winder and Tosh. When Energy FC would ever try and spring and go the other direction, we didn't see a lot of that. So the fact that you now add fresh legs in Jonathan Gomez, a more attack-minded player, and that's taking nothing away from Akil Watts, it's just facts, and George Davis. With the fluctuation that is Corbin Bode on the left flank and Jorge Gonzalez in the inside as he starts to spin out there, those three, that's a really good look for Louisville City. That all comes down to, though, where's Ownby and where's Lancaster fit in?
There it is, Ownby, Lancaster around the keeper, flag's already up.
If not for Joe Kuzminski at the Charleston Battery, that's your player of the week right there, Brian Ownby. His 2 assists, magnificent for Lou City last time out. He's officially matched his career high, and this is why. It's the initial turn, Mike, the explosion into the space, and then he draws players with him as well. It's not timed right on the ball through, but Brian Ownby has returned to top-level form in 2021 for Lou City.
I mentioned it, 6 assists. He's top 5 in the league. Ownby had already started to turn out. Scooped up to Ward, launched over Chavez. Flag up once more. Looking to start the second half of the season on a high note. Oakland Roots SC welcomes high-powered Phoenix Rising FC. When the USL on ESPN continues, don't miss any of the action from the Golden State, Wednesday, August 4th, 10 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN2. With Josh Eastern and Devin Kerr on the call for that one. And tonight, Oakland playing Orange County on ESPN+. That's an early-ish game. That's already kicked off.
Kicked off. They're going right now. And how about the interdivisional matchup? We were just talking about the Mountain, Phoenix Rising hosting RGV and Wilmer Cabrera. Excited to see what takes place there.
How about Sacramento playing Red Bulls 2 tonight? That's a fascinating game. Winder. It's the only game Sacramento is going to play against an East Coast rival this year. Down the line for Ownby. Sends this well over Wynn and the box. And flicked away from George Davis, the fourth, who was in Kansas City on Wednesday, but wasn't rostered. He was on the team sheet as the team administrator. Ownby Striding forward and slipping through Lancaster. Good recovery. Masoso in. And Bone stayed on side. A slide in by Osmond, who's been able to continue. Bijev quickly surrounded and goes to ground. Change here for Oklahoma City. That's Tucker Stevenson, who's going to replace Jonathan Brown in the wide area. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. Dev, I know it's your favorite time of night. Tonight's trivia is brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. There was a hat trick in the first ever meeting between Oklahoma City and Louisville. Who scored it? I'll give you a hint. They all scored in the game.
Of course they did. Those teams were out of control.
6 goals to 2.
Well, that's
the final
that's
score.
a 2015 game.
Yep, June 27th.
Matt Fondy was on one that year, but so was Danny Koenig. Danny Koenig. I'm going with it.
Okay. The suspense will continue. You'll sweat until the ball gets over the line again.
Joke's on you. I spilled a bottle of water on myself.
On B.
Oh, there's space on the back post.
Bone.
Logo is wide open.
Gonzalez, return ball. Ward tries to clear. Bijev.
Watch the little pinch by George Davis as they start to build. He's become really comfortable quite quickly on this left-hand side, pinching underneath Lancaster and in front of Corbin Bone. That's a nice little stepping stone for Lou City. That's due to the advancement of Jonathan Gomez on this left flank. How much further back does that pull Tucker Stevenson? Real quickly, that'll go from a little pivot on the left for Declan Wynn into a 3-4 to a flat 5 because of the numbers going forward for Lou City. And in turn, opens up more space on the interior to operate with. It's more pressure on Charlie Ward and Kurimoto.
Sent out of play. All right, here we go. Tonight's trivia is brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. It was Fondy.
Go with your gut.
Golden Boot that year.
Go with your gut.
Magnus Rasmussen scored twice. Danny Koenig scored once. Dev, who won that game? Did you know coming in? Did you know that part? Who won the meeting?
Didn't they draw?
It was 6 goals to 2.
Yeah.
All right. Gomez. I tried to leave you a trail of breadcrumbs.
Yeah, I don't eat bread. Like our producer, gluten-free.
Yep.
Not me, though.
A quick update on airports from our previous telecast.
Did you do the breakdown?
No, but I was at an airport this morning, and let me tell you, the Delta Sky Club is truly on one because the gluten-free chewy marshmallow with brown butter and sea salt, essentially Rice Krispies treat, has changed the life of both you, me, also our producer, who is indeed gluten-free. What a life.
Agreed.
Oh.
Matt Fondy, by the way, still has, based upon the, it's the amount of games played in a single season. I'm double checking my notes here. If I'm not mistaken, still has the highest goal per minute average in league history within that season in that run. It's in relevance to Lancaster's 2018 record-setting run, and of course the form that Haji Berry is in this season.
And Barry's in some kind of form. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Bounces over Davis. Kurimoto curates this wide. Win for Bijev. A chance to strike this on the first time, and Siegfried on his haunches will collect the Daniels blast.
It's the quality that you get out of Aiden Daniels, just happens to come from outer space and a really good strike from distance. It's a no-no on the clearance by Tosh. struck true. I mean, this ball is barely moving on the deck. Danny Cruz asked for one of his shot stoppers to step up. Siegfried does it.
Ward, was under pressure, gave it away. Lancaster, a giant hop off the deflection. Cochran fires this out. Daniels. And those are the transition moments that Oklahoma City just hasn't had a lot of bite in tonight.
No, and made the same argument in the first half where you just feel like things are off. Sometimes it's not your night. I'm not saying we're there for Energy FC, but the fact that the ball deflected the way that it did back in the 37th minute coming off of Connor Donovan is really a precursor to what we've seen. And even when the space is there, haven't been able to step into it. Will say that I like the fact that Aiden Daniels was willing to give it a go from distance just seconds prior. If you can't build and find your sweet spots that you've seen throughout your season, where does that evolution come from? Sometimes all you need is a spark, one of those strikes from distance, you know, a ball that's whipped in and a little bit of luck on your side, just like Louisville had. Nothing wrong with that.
For Keel Watts. Chance to tell you, if you can't watch the match, turn on SiriusXM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio. Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, Brian Dunseth, and USL All Access. Every Tuesday night, 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, UEFA Champions League, the Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app. Davis, excellent. Lancaster wanted that early. Gonzalez goes running by. Stevenson.
To be fair to George Davis, that's a really good ball played through, just without the understanding. Cam Lancaster didn't realize he was the only one there. He actually thought that he was by himself, excuse me. The ability to pitch in on his own, so he peeled back off thinking Davis could step in on his own. Instead, there is support. Both runners end up in the same place, wrong time.
You could argue Oklahoma City has their biggest stretch of the season coming up. Between now and when they play Louisville next, which will be at historic Taft Stadium on August the 22nd. Home against Memphis, away to Atlanta, away to Indy 11. Those are the teams that if you're going to the playoffs, you'll do it at their expense. These are massive points on the line, 3 games in a row, 6-point games abound. Legs, Bone. Stevenson lost it. Jorge Gonzalez plays through Gomez. Gomez across Ownby. A pair of sliding OKC defenders to the rescue. And the Energy attack revs its engine. Bijev for Chavez. Chavez turns, barely got a piece. Siegfried launches this out toward Gomez. Chavez unlucky, lost his footing as he pirouetted into the shot. Watts. Dev, I'm willing to express, I don't think Louisville's had this 11 on the field for any time this season until right now. Between the inclusion of Lancaster, Watts, Davis, I feel pretty confident in that statement. Winder as well. Bijev Bijev got a shot away. Bounces tantalizingly wide with a deflection. Corner.
Go all the way back to the first Louisville chance. There's the little spin-off by Gonzalez. Jonathan Gomez, there is just an understanding of where these runs are going to come from that is almost unfounded for his age level to pick out that trailing run because he had so many options. Chavez, got to put this on frame. Well done by Energy FC to step into the space and get a chance. And then second bite of the apple. Is it the best save? No, but it's a save most importantly. It's really difficult for Parker Siegfried because this thing dips at the tail end of it just in front of the goalkeeper. Getting a hand on it and then pushing it aside, the most important, and completion by your netminder.
Stevenson, the Vivify corner, knotted outside the frame. Louisville make an adjustment here. Del Piccolo, Gibson, McMahon, and McCabe are all unavailable for Louisville tonight. So Sawahi will come off the bench. He did not make the 18 in the most recent road game at Kansas City. Corbin Bone comes off. He'll hand off the captain's armband. The sub is brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. And Sawahi throw the captain's armband on his bicep, I would imagine, for the first time.
It's got to be a 5 now. To drop into a block. You drop Sawahi on the back line with Winder, Toge. You have Jonathan Gomez, Akil Watts. If they didn't go to 3 with the wingbacks, I'd be a little surprised here.
For now, it does appear like Sawahi is the left side of a back 3 with Winder on the right. And then the dropping Watts and Gomez, correct?
It's the response from Danny Cruz with the understanding that Energy FC is starting to find space on those wings, and that's just because when you ask Jonathan Gomez to step up a little higher, now you can play in behind him. You're not going to stop the movement by Jogo. That's simple enough. So you still retain his services on the attacking side of the ball. Defensively, he is there, but it's not his out-and-out job to sit in that space. Now you get the help from someone like Lexi Swahi. They can still spread the back 3 nice and thin for distribution coming out. It's an effort to make OKC Energy FC ask questions of themselves on the inside. They're saying, get rid of Daniels, Stevenson, Bijev, and of course Chavez. Go find work through Kurimoto and Charlie Ward. They're willing to take that chance right now.
Kurimoto's had a quiet but really efficient game on the ball. Rogers, Donovan. As far as having a back 3 goes, Rogers, Donovan, and Osmond. Pretty enticing bunch to put together back there. You know, the conversation that we had this week with Lee Wiedemann, this is slid ahead toward Ownbeam with a deflection, Karams calmly to Ward. Without the injuries, would you have gone to a back 3? And he said, yeah, that's what we wanted to do, but the fact we did it in the moment we did was certainly a statement about the injuries we had suffered to Ellis Hayden and others. Rob Coronado and the late insertion of Declan Wynn into the roster. That's a big gap leading into this back line. Gomez. Gonzalez for Gomez. Gomez, penalty. Rogers caught Gomez, gives Louisville a chance to double the advantage.
It's the advancement that we were just talking about for Jonathan Gomez, because you remove the necessity of him dropping back and trying to challenge players like Tucker Stevenson in transition. Instead, you get the ball out in front of him and the ability to create. And create alongside someone extremely talented in Gonzalez. But as this strips all the way back across, the contact, got to be smarter here.
Rogers is frustrated, should he be?
There's contact. I'll give it that.
Lancaster being held for the moment. Lancaster this year, 3 of 4 scoring penalties. Louisville did convert after the miss. Looking for goal number 8, Lancaster! Doubles the Louisville advantage. That goal is presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery.
The frustration for Sam Rogers, the Seattle native, exists, and you can understand it. Former center back myself, as this ball comes through, he tracks right. It's the little cut that you get wrong, though. He's standing up straight, but his leg extends a little bit, stepping into Jonathan Gomez, gets himself into trouble. Even worse, that man, the bad man that is Cameron Lancaster, once again at the spot. Hasn't had a lot of distribution tonight, but as we approach the midway point of the season, he approaches double digits again.
8 goals this year, 4 by way of penalty. Lethal from the spot once again. And Lou City 2 goals up on Oklahoma City. Ombi. Suwahi. Gomez. Goal here would be Louisville putting the pedal down. There have been a few late game goals that Danny Cruz, Louisville's interim head coach, would like to see evolve out of Louisville's game. Ahead for Ombi. Ombi slashes this across. Any bobble by Cochran would have been catastrophic. Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll open the next few minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. Stevenson, what's the response here from Oklahoma City? An own goal in the 37th minute off the head of Donovan, and a penalty that Rogers certainly felt wasn't due. Contact from behind. And Davis back at Declan Wynn. Those two are new friends.
How long they've let Cameron Lancaster go. You remember coming back from injury, approaching the 80th minute, gets his goal, which is nice, but fresh legs to chase. Energy FC, you know they're bringing reinforcements. And you have Kyle Gregg there. Of course, with the changes being made, that's necessarily a necessity at this point in time.
Changes coming for Oklahoma City. Brad Dunwell will come on, replace Charlie Ward. Sub is brought to you by MHS Global. It's Kodai Ida. It's a really short bench for Oklahoma City tonight. Sam Rogers comes off. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. coming off Cameron Lancaster, welcoming Kyle Gregg. Sub is brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Tonight's nuggets of the match are brought to you by Chick-fil-A Kentuckiana. Kyle Gregg passing 200 league appearances and now 60 goals. USL Hall of Fame, wherever it lands. Is he in it?
He's in it.
He's in it.
Absolutely.
Turns out, 8 goals against Kansas City, too.
Oops.
Kansas City native. One just wonders what would happen if Kansas City had brought him in. It turns out he can never stop scoring there.
You know, that could have been the question, by the way, for trivia. Wherever the USL Hall of Fame lands, is Kyle Gregg in it? I would have gotten that one right.
Yeah. Here's Gregg.
That's a ball.
Brilliant by Gomez. Gomez was continuing to run with Gregg up there. Gonzalez. Gonzalez!
He's frustrated by the little contact picked up by Zach Ellis-Hayden. Really impressive that he's able to even bring this thing down. You could see it taking shape from miles away on the ball by George Davis.
Good to see Zach Ellis-Hayden returning as well.
He was playing very well in the game prior to his departure last time they came to town, the 3-1 loss a couple weeks ago. Welcome to the match.
Ida leaps back up. Referee was waiting for confrontation. Ida's got bigger fish to fry. And leap right back into the press as Sawahi sent him to ground.
It's really interesting for Louisville City what they've done with the addition of Lexi Swahi onto the field, where it's more so with 3, to be fair, with Jonathan Gomez playing so high and Nikhil Watts on the right. But what they did with their midfield, more importantly, Nikhil Watts not stepping as much. George Davis is the presence on the right side, but Brian Ownby just pinching in front of him. So he's off the left shoulder, theoretically, of George Davis. Masoso is just underneath, and then Gonzalez just in front of him. So it quickly turns into a 6-man midfield where Kyle Gregg places the point man, but the advancement is still there from someone like Ownby, who peels down into the channel, and the overlapping runs of Gomez. There's still so many threats for Louisville, even though they're trying to shore it up defensively.
Gomez out by Ida. Ellis-Hayden was prepared to cut him off at the pass. Gonzalez. There's Ellis-Hayden. What have you made of his first full, potentially 90-minute performance, but real true taste of Jorge Gonzalez at this point?
Vanilla. You know, I think that he's another one of the players that you expect so much out of, given his results last season with T2. And from a playmaking standpoint, he brings an energy, Mike, that's contagious. And so what we've seen so far coming off the bench is that electric play, the great vision, but it's 15-20 minutes to go, right? Now, mind you, handful of appearances on the season so far. A guy coming back from injury, gets his first goal. We're probably turning our heads going, this is it. Now we're gonna crown him. This is the heir apparent. He's gonna step in. There's your next playmaker. It's gonna be your second leading goal scorer. And the night didn't necessarily go his way. By no means was he bad, though. You said that Korimoto had been quiet but very efficient. Would make the same argument for Gonzalez, because where he took his chances, outside of the one mistake, which was very bad in the opening 30 minutes of the first half, everything else has been extremely calculated. I respect that from a player. When you recognize your surroundings, where you can take chances, when you're in friendly confines as opposed to enemy territory, that's extremely important, because a lot of guys are just thinking, okay, let's go 100 miles an hour all day long, and they can't get it right. Watch out. Watch out.
Goes into Stevenson, a penalty for Oklahoma City. Right at the edge of the penalty area, Oklahoma City, a lifeline with 5 minutes to go.
It's a penalty, promise you this. Tosh knows it as well. He's a little bit late on the back shoulder on a great ball played through. Watch the touch right there. Can't do that. Stevenson knows the challenge is coming. Can he get there first is what it comes down to. All that matters is that you're first to the ball and the mistake will come.
Bijev this year is 1 for 2. 1-0 win against SKC2. Brooks Thompson is the goalkeeper. He scored on Matt Van Okel in a loss in the Black Gold Derby on June the 13th. He's got 5 goals on the season. Goal here would bring Oklahoma City right into the thick of the plot now. The big moment for Parker Siegfried in goal. William Bijev scores! He paused a brief moment in time, Siegfried, and now goal is going to be retaken. All that conversation between the referee and the players at the edge of the penalty area, and someone may have broken the plane here. They did.
Yeah, he doesn't fully stop his run. It's Kurimoto. Kurimoto is the player who infringes upon the rights of the top of the 18-yard box. Run it back.
So much drama now. Bijev again. Bijev again. Scores from the penalty spot.
Did it in the 61st minute. Last time, they weren't able to claw anything back in the 3-1 loss back on July 14th. There's life left in them here for Energy FC. They were good to start. They leveled out a little bit. You saw them find those offensive movements right around the 65th minute. Danny Cruz made changes, started to push those aside. They finally get one of those balls that reprieves the pressure over the top. Rewarded with the penalty. They're back in this thing, Mike.
This will roll out. Folks, Soccer Holdings Diversity, Inclusion, and Opportunity Committee throughout the 2021 season will name a minority-owned business of the month to assist with sustained change and support in our community. This month, we'd like to congratulate Black Business Boxes. Visit blackbusinessboxes.com to purchase one of their personally curated boxes. Support multiple businesses with one purchase. For a limited time, use code LOSECITY at checkout, 20% off your self-care box. Contact again, referee this time, instantly waving his arms, says Stevenson would not be drawing the foul. And Sawahi's saying if it's not a foul, then it must be simulation.
Got a little bit of a point, more importantly, for Louisville City down the stretch. Tighten up once again. 3 matches running now, Mike. They've conceded in the final 5 minutes, leaking goals at the tail end of games. 4 out of the last 5 conceding in the second half. That's where Danny Cruz has really asked for his team to be more mentally sharp down the stretch. Once again, skeletons coming out of the closet for Lou City. It's almost like they become disinterested. A little switch off here and there to get themselves into trouble. And you come up to a squad that carries more confidence, that has the character to fight back, maybe a bit earlier, more firepower. You're not going to be able to get away with it.
Tosh. Ownby. Oklahoma City, dare I say, with a surge right now of energy. Since the penalty, but really you could argue probably the 5-10 minutes before that point. Louisville's used all 5 of their subs. So they're not going to get any reprieve from their bench from here. And a very short-handed OKC side trying to grab a point on the road here, which would be massive, not only in trying to hold that number 4 playoff spot right now, Devin, but if you go to Lynn Family Stadium and get a result, the matter what, you feel better about where you're at as a club, but any result here, magnificent historically. Ida continuing to thrash away at the back line. Header back by Tosh. Siegfried is there, trying to calm things down. Stoppage time is brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. 3 added minutes. Appeal for a handball, referee. Now see it Oklahoma City's way. Louisville bench on 2, please. And here comes Oklahoma City. Win. Can of corn, Siegfried. Seconds to go. Siegfried drives it away. Swahi. Ellis Hayden. Ellis Hayden trying to get to the byline.
That's a foul.
Slide in by Gomez. Gomez is going to get a yellow. And Oklahoma City is going to get a massive free kick in the final minute of stoppage.
This is a mistake anywhere on the field, yet alone for youngster Jonathan Gomez. It's unfortunate, too, for him because this ball isn't going anywhere near a threatening point on the field for Energy FC. He's got the space, knows where the presence is going to come from Zach Ellis Hayden. It's going to be on the right foot, a quick explosion to the byline. Instead, any trickery left up the sleeve here for Energy FC as we approach full time.
Vivify yellow card to Jonathan Gomez. It's a 5th third free kick. The dying minutes. Goalkeeper is forward. Can Cochran be the answer?
This has got to be on the ground, top of the 18. There's a runner there too, and the space to be had.
Does Bijev just try and whip this into the mixer? Bijev. The dying seconds away by Siegfried. That'll be a corner. Siegfried may have just saved 2 points. Vivify corner. No time to waste. Corner floated. Gonzalez. And the full-time whistle arrives. And Louisville hold on to 3 points at home. A 2-1 victory over Oklahoma City. And still top of the East. A 16-year-old and a 17-year-old holding down the back line late in this game. Cameron Lancaster scores the winner, it turns out. He is tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match.
Why not? Ends up with the game-winning goal for Lou City. Approaching double digits once again for the Englishman. Didn't necessarily have the greatest night. That's not his fault. You don't get a lot of distribution in. You can't pull the opportunities out. Down the stretch, Parker Siegfried once again helping Lou City pull themselves out from the bottom of the barrel.
You see Hubbard, Cochran, and Siegfried speaking post-game. Let's take a look at the good hand save of the game presented by Allstate.
Has to be. You know, this is eerily similar to what you see at the national level. One of the arguments for Greg Berhalter's goalkeepers is that maybe they're too tactically talented and need more shot stoppers. You've gotten that out of Turner. You get that out of Siegfried. They don't keep the 0. Not necessarily his fault when you ask for it from 12 yards out, but what a save at the tail end of it, and the confidence to step into that crowded box.
It's another night without a Mortensen Family Dental clean sheet, but it will get the job done. 3 goals in this game. What a unique 3 goals they were. 2 penalties and an own goal. But Lou City gets the lion's share, and they'll take all 3 points up to 33, top in the East. Gorski Law Office postgame on the other side of the break.
Enjoying the sunshine and fresh air can be hard for many of us. Advanced ENT and Allergy is the regional leader in upper airway care. From allergies, sinus problems, sleep apnea, hearing health, and more, our medical team treats everyone like family. Advanced ENT and Allergy offers same-day appointments, and for many, no referral is needed. Our outstanding team of physicians, along with state-of-the-art technology, can get you breathing right, sleeping well, and feeling better sooner. Go to advancedentandallergy.com for your appointment. 8 locations.
Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport is proud to welcome Breeze Airways with 3 nonstop flights to Charleston, Tampa, and New Orleans.
By the middle of the summer, we'll be in 15 cities. Really desirable, cool cities like Charleston, Tampa, New Orleans. And with fares, get this, starting at only $39. Chances are we can get you there twice as fast for half the price. Welcome to Breeze, everybody. Come aboard.
Welcome back to the Gorski Law Office postgame. Siegfried, a winner for the 3rd time in 3 tries as a starter. Jonathan Gomez signing everything in sight. Lou City will sign their name to a 2-1 victory against Oklahoma City tonight as they open up a 3-game homestand that'll continue with Kansas City and Tulsa. Let's take a look at the Toyota move of the game. Toyota.
Let's go places for Louisville City, right down in the middle. George Davis IV. I said Cameron Lancaster is a bad man. This is just after coming onto the field. What a tackle. Little turn. Let's go the other direction. Couldn't link up with the run from Lancaster. But great to see George Davis IV back in action once again.
Tonight's game summary is brought to you by Dan O's Seasoning. Louisville on the attack.
37th minute. What a little step. This is what you need for Lou City. All of your front 3 running downhill with supplemental runs coming from the midfield, and then the understanding that the little drop back off, whether it's Openo or Lancaster there, and it's going to happen. Instead, comes off the deflection from the defender, Connor Donovan, who had a very good game for Energy FC. Do not let that own goal spoil what went on here. Sam Rogers, on the other hand, would like to forget this little challenge on Jonathan Gomez. It's a penalty. It's contact, it's a follow-through, it's everything. And it's Cameron Lancaster once again from the spot. 8th goal on the season, 2-0 for Louisville City. Here they go, right? They're gonna keep the 0, they're gonna grab 3 points, and they're gonna shore up everything that have been the woes down the end of their last couple of matches. Remember, 3 times and 3 consecutive games they've conceded in the last 5 minutes. They've done it in 4 out of the last 5. Penalty by Toshan Stevenson, penalty by Bijev on Siegfried. It's 2-1.
But it would stay there despite a spirited late effort by Vilian Bijev. He'd have to take that twice. Eventually it would count.
Good on him, going right back to the same place. You play mind games. Your mind's playing tricks on you, and which direction do you go? Lou City once again, the goal. That's going to be a problem.
Breaking news in the Central Division, Atlanta through Darwin Mateus score in the 90-plus 6th minute to take a point off Birmingham tonight.
Wow.
So the lead in the Central grows that much more significant. For Louisville, here are the full-time stats. Chance for your final thoughts, Steph.
I'm More shots, to be honest. Atlanta United 2 grabbed that last goal at the end. Lou City's going to be even happier now with their win. Shots on target, Mike. 2 through the opening 15 minutes. 8 shots at halftime. You can't spin 6 in the second half and only put 1 on frame. That's an issue for him. Still, grabbed 3 points, had to grind it out at the end.
Louisville will be home again to take on Kansas City next weekend. Following week, FC Tulsa. Oklahoma City will host Memphis, the big Central Division game next weekend. For our entire NEP crew, led by producer Sharni Yerke, director Gio Guerrero, Manny Simone, Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, saying so long from Louisville.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.